Hello everybody, Low for Life here, bringing us a brand new video, and today we're going to take a look at Maze of the Masters. Specifically, we're going to talk about the new Odion stuff, and also we'll take a look at the full set list if you haven't seen it yet. This set is very interesting. I've really liked the two previous Maze sets in terms of what they've done for the archetypes that they were supporting. And Gate Guardian went from being unplayable trash to, well, being actually pretty solid as a fun little deck. I don't think it ever got any tops, but I do remember people were having a lot of fun playing the deck, and it was always really interesting seeing what people came up with the archetype. On top of that, of course, it got new support later on with Dark Guardian finally getting printed and stuff like that. I think the deck still needs a few things, mainly retrains of the original Gate Guardian pieces, but anyways. And then, of course, Flame Swordsman was really great, too. That actually saw a couple tops, if I remember right, with people playing it in the, mixed with the Infernoble deck. And even, I think there was one person who just played pure Flame Swordsman with a crap ton of hand traps. So, it's really interesting. They have done pretty decent with these maze sets so far. And I would even go so far as to say that the Odion stuff here is really solid. I've seen some people talking online. I've not had a chance to personally test it yet because I do use Edo Pro mainly. It's not on here, but I did pull aside some stuff to talk about as we go through. But I have been seeing people talking about things who have more time to play test than me. And talking about what they are seeing with testing this deck. And the general consensus so far has been that it's really close to being a really solid deck. And had things just been a little different with a few cards here and there, probably could have seen it actually be a really solid archetype going into this format. I think there's a chance of it doing well. But that's going to depend on skilled pilots, luck, and what people mesh it with. So anyways, let's go to get started into this, and then after we talk about this, we will look at the rest of the set, where I will give my thoughts on that, and also, of course, I want to talk about some of the things that people are talking about with the old stuff. Anyway, so we have our first guy here, which is Odion himself, as the man with the mark. Level 4 Earth Spellcaster Effect Monster. If this card is normal or special summon, you can take one Temple to Kings, or a spell or trap card that mentions it, and either add it to your, from your deck, and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. This is really cool. Some of the new stuff wants to be in the graveyard, but also some of the, this is mainly just searching. It's a searcher. While he's on the field, Temple to Kings, while he's on the field and you have Temple to Kings out, this card and Apothis monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Temple to Kings you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Now, if you don't remember what Temple to Kings is, this is a rather infamous continuous spell. Because when it was first printed, it said, you can activate this card. While this card is out on the field, you can activate traps to turn your set. Now, they have errated it to where you can only get one trap card a turn for free. Now, that's not terrible, but it does hinder what the deck can do quite heavily. But considering what we could have seen with infinite traps being able to activate as spells, probably for the best with that errata. It also has this random effect where you can send a Mystical Beast of Circuit in your monster zone, and this card you control to the graveyard. Special summon one monster from your hand or deck, or one fusion monster from your extra deck. You can only use each effect of Temple to Kings once per turn. So, you can't cheese it out with multiple copies or anything like that. Temple to Kings, I would say, as a modern, in the modern build and everything, probably going to be a one of. There is a new card that pretends to be it. Maybe could be more than one. It will totally depend on what people do. A big sticking point is the retrain of Mystical Beast of Circuit does not count as Mystical Beast of Circuit, which means if you want to get that bonus cheese out of Fusion, you need to play the original Mystical Beast, and that's not good. So, continuing on, we have, speaking of the devil, Merciless Scorpion of Circuit. This is level 6 Earth Fairy effect monster. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing one level 10 or higher monster from your hand or deck, while you control Temple to Kings. You can only special summon one Merciless Scorpion of Circuit once per turn this way. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can add a Temple to Kings or one spell that mentions it from your deck to your hand. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, You can destroy that opponent's monster, and if you do, this card gains attack. You will have to destroy the monster's original attack. So this card would be amazing if it just had one more line of text that said this card is treated as the original Mystical Beast of Circuit while on the field. If it just had that, we would be popping off like crazy, because then you could summon it, you could search out something else, and then you could send this after getting your free trap once per turn with Temple of the Kings to cheese out a fusion monster. And this deck does have fusion monsters. But for some reason, Konami did not make it so that Merciless Scorpion of Circuit treats itself as the original Mystical Beast of Circuit. And the original Mystical Beast of Circuit is not good. This card is a 2006 boss monster, and even back then it wasn't good. And heck, it wasn't playable for the longest period of time when it would have been decent because Temple of the Kings was banned. If you don't know what the original Mystical Beast of Circuit does, I don't blame you. But if you do not control Temple of the Kings, destroy this card. Banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card. And if this card destroys a monster by battle, it gains 500 attack. It's not terrible for its time period, but it was literally unusable because Temple of the Kings was banned for, until like 6-7 years ago when they finally errated it. I can't remember when they errated it, actually, but I digress. So, before that, I mean, like, there was maybe a week where it was playable and people were doing shenanigans with Temple of the Kings instead of doing cool stuff with Mystical Beast of Circuit. I digress. Anyways, when you got an unsearchable pair like this, it's really hard not to blame people for not doing funny stuff like that. Anyways, so yeah. This card is great, though, being able to search out any of your spells or trap. Well, actually just spells that mention Temple of the Kings or is Temple of the Kings. So, yeah, really good card all around. We got 2 searchers right off the bat. Granted, this guy needs another card on field to be able to summon itself, but it's not terrible. Then we got the new boss monster, Anubis the Last Judge. This is an Earth Fiend, and is very, very interesting. So, one of the images isn't loading. Can I click it? Cool. Okay. So, anyways, cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be spell summoned from your hand or graveyard while you have 3 or more cards in your graveyard with different names that are Temple of the Kings and or traps. By placing 2 of them on the bottom of the deck in any order. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, add 1 to Man with the Mark from your deck to your hand. Really funny, it searches specifically Odion himself here. If a spell or trap card you control is destroyed by card effect, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use each effect of Anubis Last Judge per turn. So Anubis is a really interesting card because of a few things. For one thing, this is another searcher. This deck has 3 searchers right off the bat here. And I'll tell you right now, it's got a Rhoda spell too. This deck has a lot of consistency. And Anubis is going to be a 3 of just for this right here. Being able to search your Man with the Mark, who can then get you to your other combo stuff, who then, of course, get you the Merciless Scorpion of Circuit, which can then get you to your combos. This is ridiculous. The amount of consistency with this deck is amazing. And it means that this deck's going to get hurt really hard by Draw and Lockbird. But I digress. What doesn't anymore these days? Also really cool, I do like how this card replaces itself, and also recycles your deck a little bit by placing 2 of your cards that are in your graveyard back into your deck. Really cool card all around. I just wish I had a way to summon itself from the banished, and it's relevant because of this guy over here, where you have to banish a level 10 or higher monster. I think the idea, though, is you're supposed to banish like the Winged Dragon of Ra, and I'm bringing that up specifically because this deck has random synergies with Winged Dragon of Ra. Now, I say random, but it's because of the tie-in with the anime, but I digress. So, next up we got our first fusion, Defiant Serpent Apophis. Level 6 Earth Reptile Fusion Effect Monster, 2800 attack, 2600 defense. Needs 2 monsters that mention Temple of the Kings, and must either be fusion summoned or spell summoned by tributing 2 Apophis monsters. Really cool. You can even tribute other copies of itself if you need to, but I don't think that's really relevant. I say that, but also it does not have a hard once per turn on it. So, once per turn, you can target 3 Apophis traps with different names in your graveyard, set them. So, yeah, you could actually cheese that with multiple copies. I don't think it's worth it, though, but Once per turn, if a trap card is activated, it's set during a damage step. You can target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. This card's really cool because it's more setup and also does, well, more disruption. It's a pop, and since all your trap cards, that's able to, you know, trigger on your opponent's turn. This card's more disruption, and it's just great. Like, really great. And it's the better of the two fusions, in my opinion. Sorry, Divine Scorpion Beast of Circuit over here. So, Divine Scorpion Beast of Circuit is a level 6 Fairy Fusion Effect monster. 3k attack, 2k defense. Needs a Circuit monster plus 2,500 attack. Plus one monster with 2,500 or less attack. Funnily enough, you can, of course, fuse another copy of itself into this, which is interesting. Also, since it says a Circuit monster, maybe we'll get more circuits in the future. This deck, of course, like the other maze sets, actually, now that I think about it, I don't think did Flame Swordsman get any more support after the initial wave? I don't think it did. Gate Guardian did, but yeah, hopefully this deck does, because I really feel like this deck's only like 2 or 3 cards away from being like a really solid, like, I don't know, meta, but like very, very, very high tier rogue deck. Probably like a rogue tier 3, tier 2. Actually, probably no more tier 2. I'd say right now it's probably tier 3. I do think we will see this deck top, but it's going to be it's going to have to be somebody who's very good at playing trap decks. Anyways, Divine Scorpion Beast of Circuit. If this card is special summoned or at the start of a damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, target one face-up monster your opponent controls or in your graveyard, banish it. And if you do, this card gains attack, it will have that monster's attack power. You can only use this effect of Divine Beast of Circuit once per turn. This card can make a second attack during each battle phase while level 10 or higher monster is banished. This card is, again, really interesting. I think it's solid as like a boss monster, but comparing it to the Apothis fusion, I don't think it's all that great. It does seem like it can really help close out games, and it's really cheeky to summon, especially since, if I remember right, yeah, the fusion spell lets you fuse with your opponent's monsters, so it is worth playing. It is worth playing just for that. And, oh boy, level 6s. You can make some fun stuff with that. Anyways, moving on. Treasures of the Kings. This is a field spell card. And when it's activated, you can set one Apothis trap from your deck. This card's name becomes Temple of the Kings while in the field zone. Once per turn, if you have 2 or more set cards on the field or a trap in your graveyard, you can add one monster that mentions Temple of the Kings from your deck to your hand. This is yet another searcher. And it's a double searcher. When it's activated, you get an Apothis trap. And then if you have 2 or more set cards on your field or a trap in your grave, you can add a monster. This card is stupid. That is 4 searchers. That is 4 searchers for this archetype. This deck is stupidly consistent. It is very, very stupidly consistent. And I am very, very curious to see where this deck is going to go with what people do with it. Very annoyed at how high rarity this stuff is, by the way. The field spell and the Man of the Mark are both secrets. Both other main deck monsters are ultra rares. Both fusions are supers, which isn't all that terrible in this set. But yeah, and then the rest. Oh yeah, one of the traps is an ultra. Actually, no, both of the traps are ultras. But yeah, this deck is gonna be. If this deck actually does well, which it has a chance of doing, this deck's gonna be expensive, which is a bit annoying. But I digress. Moving on, let's look at Defense of the Temple. Fusion summon one Earth Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. If you control a monster, if you use a monster that mentions Temple of the Kings, you can also use face-up monsters your opponent controls as material. If you control Temple of the Kings, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Dangers of the Divine from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Defense of the Temple once per turn. Sorry if I sound a bit weird, I am still fighting a bit of a head cold. Anyways, we got another searcher. Searches specifically Dangers of the Divine, which I really like the subtleness of oh, there's the eyes and everything. Yeah. Anyways, Defense of the Temple is the fusion spell for this deck, and it's a good one. The fact that it's just a plain old fusion spell that's very searchable, very easy to get to, and really, you're mainly using this to go into circuit. You might use it every now and then to make Apothis, but for the most part, Apothis, you're using his effect to summon himself, while with Circuit, this is what you're summoning. Using to summon it. And on top of that, this card is really cool in that it's a super poly. So you activate this while you have circuit out, and you're going to go for this circuit. Cool, you just use one of your opponent's monsters, 2,500 or less attack. Now, granted, if you're playing against Rizel, that doesn't mean you can get rid of the freaking detonator, but it does mean you can get rid of some of the other annoying stuff, like maybe if they still have the dual drive on the field, or some of the other things. Maybe get rid of, like, I don't know, a Baguska if they summoned it, some other stuff, Tornado Dragon, things like that. But if you're playing against Malice, their whole field's for the picking pretty much, because that's funny. Anyways, this card's cool. It's yet another Searcher too, because, yeah. Also, the Fusion Summon, not a once per turn, but the Search is, so there is that. I don't know how many copies this would get played as. Probably a 2 of at most, maybe a 1 of. It's very easy to search, and I think, can't the last judge put it back on the bottom? Yeah. Oh, wait, no. With different names, there are Temple to Kings and or Traps. No. They cannot put that back. It has to be Traps or cards that mention that are Temple to Kings. Okay. So, that's a bit annoying. No, you cannot put it back. So, there's no way to recur it, so maybe it's a 2 of. I don't know. It's super searchable. Gonna have to see how that goes. It also depends on how many, like, circuits you actually play of this guy, which is probably going to be dependent on the player. I don't know. Anyways, Danger to the Divine, moving on. This is where we get a bit funky with this deck. So, Danger to the Divine is a quick play spell card. Pay half your life points, then tribute 1 monster. Special summon 1 Winged Dragon of Ra from your hand or banishment, ignoring its summoning conditions, and make its attack and defense 4,000, but it cannot attack. Also, during the end phase of the next turn, return it to the hand. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, choose 1 Winged Dragon of Ra in your monster zone, and send all other monsters on the field to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of Dangers of Divine once per turn. Okay, so the combo you do with this, okay, is you summon a circuit by banishing a Ring Dragon of Ra. Okay, you summon circuit, you use circuit effect to search out defense. You use defense effect to fusion summon. Okay, yeah, see where we're going? It's just like the anime. And then you use defense effect to banish it and search Dangers of the Divine for the most telegraphed board wipe ever. The thing is, this is a literal, as the name implies, with a danger in the defense, it's the last defense after your opponent plays through all of your other negates and options. So, literally, you set this, your opponent goes and does their things, yada yada yada, to get through your whole board, and then you Dangers of the Divine, you pay half your life, tribute your last monster, maybe in response to your opponent like trying to detonator it or something. Granted, this is probably the first thing they would go for, but you know, maybe they're being stupid, or maybe they hit something else trying to hit this, maybe they hit like one of your other traps. Anyways, you tribute that last monster, you summon out the Winged Dragon of Ra, it becomes a wall, and then, well, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, choose 1 Winged Dragon of Ra on your monster zone and send all the monsters on the field to the graveyard. So, here's the thing, okay? When this card resolves, it goes to the graveyard from the field, meaning you will get to trigger its effect. So you then choose the Winged Dragon of Ra and send all the monsters on the field to the graveyard. Now, is this very convoluted? Yes. Are you probably only playing one of this? Yes. If you played at all, correct. Same thing with Winged Dragon of Ra. It's very convoluted. Are you going to play this? Maybe. Same thing with the, well, I mean, like, if you're playing this, you play the one of Ra. But, like, then you're opening yourself to the brick and all that fun stuff. So it really comes down to what you want to do with the deck, how things are going to go, and who knows, maybe it is the correct thing to do. I don't know. I'm going to have to test it. People are going to have to test it, figure that out. Now, because of that, though, if you want to lean hard into the Ra stuff, Ra does have a lot of really good support. So that is something to look into, maybe. Of course, there's the much better Argo Star line that you can go with. So, you know, I don't know. Speaking of, if you're looking at the Apothis stuff, the old stuff, there's the original embodiment of Apothis and the Apothis, the Swamp Deity. Deity is, of course, a really good trap. Apoth, the original, is just a normal monster. So you're probably playing this purely for names, which does suck. But there is a new Apothis monster, but it's not all that great in my opinion, from what I remember. Yeah, it's a very interesting trap. Anyway, well, actually, no, it is good. It is good. It is good. It makes the original embodiment good. I'm getting it mixed up. Anyways, moving on. Verdict of Anubis. Very funny art. Again, all references to the anime. Counter trap. When your opponent activates a spell trap card by control 3 or more traps, other spell trap cards, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Then if you control Temple Decaying, so you can destroy as many monsters as your opponent controls as possible. Then inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the total attack of all those destroyed monsters. This card is very funny. That means that, technically speaking, this deck has 2 board wipes. Which is very intriguing. And again, are you playing both? Maybe. We will have to see what people do. This is another ultra rare, which means Konami expects people to play it, and it's expected to be good. So this one is the much better board wipe. This one is very funny, but yeah, we will see. This is probably a 1 to 2 of. I hate how it's not, like, you have to control 3 or more other spell trap cards. But, because it is a trap card, you can put it back at the bottom of your deck with Anubis and then just search it out again. So maybe it's a 1 of. Then we got Apothis the Serpent. This one makes the OG Apothis actually, like, decent. So, special summon this card as a normal monster. Reptile, Earth, level 4, 16, 18. I believe that's the exact same stats as the original. Yeah, 16, 18, level 4, Reptile, Earth. Then you can set one Apothis trap from your deck, except itself. It can be activated this turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 embodiment of Apothis from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Apothis the Serpent once per turn. So the idea is you get this with your traps and that, well, with your spells and everything. Since you get your 1 free trap a turn, you flip this over, get 1 more Apothis trap embodiment probably, or the new Apothis, Apothis the Swamp Deity. You get that out. You then flip it, since you can activate it this turn. You fuse those 2 off for this guy. Okay, well, for the fusion, triggering this effect where it's sent to the graveyard to search out an embodiment, and then you use your fusion Apothis to put the other 2 Apothises back on the field. And you set your new one, your old one, the original, the embodiment, the one that you searched, and then you are good to go. That is very interesting. This card sets up a lot of stuff and makes the original embodiment playable. Now, do you really want to play the original embodiment? Probably not, but you do have to because of the names. It's not a good card by any stretch of the imagination nowadays. There's much better trap monsters. There's one that's like a tarantula from what I remember. Continuous special summon this. So for one thing, there's the Tikis. The Tikis are always good. I love the Tikis. But then there's one, I don't remember the name. Obviously, the people are also looking at mixing this with Eldritch because of the monster trap thing. Let's see. Statue of Anger's Patterns. Yeah. If a monster is special into your from your spell trap card zone to a monster zone while this card is a monster, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it. So this is not once per turn. So if you get this out, there are some funny things you can do with that. That gives you even more disruption. Are you going to play this, though? This is not searchable. That's the big thing. Now, monster traps, trap monsters have a lot of support. So maybe there's something there with that if you really want to lean hard into that. But we will have to see. The big thing that people are looking at, of course, is Argo Stars alongside Eldritch, because both decks are trap monster decks. Eldritch. Why can I not? Eldritch. There we go. Eldritch. I keep wanting to call it Eldritch. So both of these are trap monster focused archetypes, and both of them are very good trap monster focused archetypes. Eldritch, of course, has a bit more of a bigger track record in terms of competitive viability, but Argo Stars also literally just came out and is not, like, done. Doesn't have all of its support. The other big point of contention of Argo Stars is that they also have a field spell that you really want to have out, so it's kind of like, okay, which one do you really want to keep on the field during the opponent's turn? This one pings your opponent and also gets to negate a monster, while the Apophis one, I mean, like, this one, honestly, you could probably, okay, you use this, get your stuff going, then you switch it with the Argo Star field spell to be able to get a ping and a gate. But yeah, that's probably going to be how it goes. If you even do play the Argo Stars in it, we will have to wait and see. A big other point of contention, of course, is Glorious Adra is a normal summon. And your best normal summon is the Man with the Mark. So there is that as well. Now, because they're Earth, there are some fun things with that you can do. Like, there are... So, for Earth Fairies, you, of course, have Mudora. I mean, granted, a lot of the Earth Fairy support. Like, there was a lot of random Earth Fairy support. Like, okay, Thrawn. Okay, if a monster that was originally an Earth Fairy is sent from a hand or field to graveyard, you can spell summon it from a hand. And then there's, like, random, like, stuff like Rolled Soul. But granted, a lot of that's not good at all. But, like, the big stuff, of course, is the Vernus Sylph, which all locks you into Earth. And, hey, look at that, you play nothing but Earths. So, there might be something there, too, to test out. We'll have to wait and see how things go. I'm excited because this is really cool, and I'm just happy. Now, granted, I'm not excited to see how expensive everything is going to be. That I am not looking forward to. Speaking of expensive, this Maze set has really killed my excitement in terms of its expensiveness. So, okay, the two chase cards are the 2 quarter centuries. With Silent Magician level 8 and the Alt-Art Galaxy Eyes Tachyon. I really want to get the Galaxy Eyes Tachyon, but that's probably not going to happen. But the big things are, of course, I wish they had the infographic. Do they have an infographic? No. The annoying things. Okay, so first let's start with the good. Let's start with the good. All the Trickstar stuff is really low rarity. Now, I know some people are going to be like, yeah, that's not good. Aqua Angel's like the only high rarity card in this. I am very happy to see that. I want to play Trickstar, and I don't want to have to pay an arm and a leg. And it's probably the only thing I'm going to be able to afford out of this set. I have no interest in the Union stuff, personally, which I feel bad for you guys who are interested in this, because there's a lot of Ultras. Granted, there's also quite a few collectors. So far, we don't know the Trickstar collectors, which is a bit annoying, but we will see. But yeah, they're really milking at Kaiba fanboyism here. And then there's me with my Galaxy Eyes, man. There's me with the Galaxy Eyes. Okay. 7th Tachyon, we all knew this card was going to be expensive. What I did not know going into this was that they added in secret rares to this. And unfortunately, there is a lot of them, with Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Primal being a secret rare, with 7th Tachyon being a secret rare. Let's see here. What else is a secret rare in this? Schwarzschild Infinity Dragon. Where are you? Infinity Dragon. There you are. Being a secret rare. Freaking Galaxy. It's just, why? Then an ultra rare for the new Luxion. It sucks. Okay, that's 3 secret rares for playing full power Galaxy Eyes. This card is easily going to be a $100 card. Thank you, Ryziel. So if you want to play full power Shark, full power Galaxy Eyes, full power any Xyz deck that is not named Ryziel, you're instantly looking at easily another $300 for your searcher. And that's really annoying because, of course, later on in the year, we have the Heraldic Beast coming out. Now, honestly, Heraldics don't really need this card. They've got plenty of other searchers in the deck, but, like, at the same time, this does help. Does help, kinda. Actually, wait, what number are you even, like, revealing with that? 101. He's a water. Why did that just ping? Or not? Okay. Go away, Microsoft Store. Okay, I know why. It's because my number lock, my shortcuts, that's why it pinged. Anyway, so we got number 101. That's 2 is a light. So 3, water for light, fire, earth, and of course light again. So yeah, Herodics have freaking attributes everywhere. With earth, no winds though, that's a bit annoying. Oh, but water, and of course that's one of the new searchers. Yeah, 7th Tachyon is annoyingly... Oh, it's and or attribute or type. That's right. So if any of them... I don't think any of them are wing beasts. Oh, well. Yeah, really annoying. Really annoying. I am not looking forward to the 7th Tachyon being yet another prohibitively expensive card for a bunch of other decks because of the tier borderline 0 archetype playing it. This card is also probably going to be expensive. We'll have to see. It's a very good possibility. I want to play Galaxy Eyes Go Second OTK, okay? But there is a little thing called the FTK, the Galaxy Eyes FTK with Catapult Turtle. So yeah, fun stuff. Anyways, other than that, the big reprint is Mochar. Oh yeah, Ancient Gear statue. I am so happy. Ancient Gear statue. Finally, Ancient Gear is a fully playable archetype. It's a little too late, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take the statue. I'll try to play the deck. Perform Age finally being printed. Very fun, very interesting. It's very... This should have been printed 10 years ago, man. Or however long it's been. When did Arc V end? Crap. When did Arc V end? Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V. When did Arc V end? When did Arc V end? Oh my god, it has been 10 years. Why? Why are you making me feel old? It has been 10 years. Since it started, at least. Which means if it ran for 3 seasons, that's what, 3 years? So it probably... God, when did it end? That was what, 3... No, that's the manga. Yeah, 3 years. God, I feel so old. I still remember when I did freaking reviews of each episode. These should have been printed 8 years ago. This is so sad that they made us wait this long for the Perform Age archetype purely because of Pepe, let's be real. But I digress. Yeah, Lord Queen stuff is cool. It needs the rest of the support though. I think. Yeah, that doesn't come out to the Alliance Insight. Herald of Green Light and Orange Light. Oh, purple and green. That's cool reprints. Is Orange in here? I don't think he's had a reprint in a while. I can't remember. We got a bunch of the old... Oh, there's Orange. Cool. I don't know why he's down here, not with the others. Anyways, then we got some Glad Beast reprints. Nothing major. The Clear Monster's finally getting printed. That's fun. I can't wait to play the Clear archetype, even though that's another archetype that should have been printed 20 years ago and is in dire need of support. Dire need of modern support. But there's the big reprint right there. Mo Charming Perilia. As an ultra rare, which means it's still going to be a $40 card at the very least. So, yeah, that's not really making it cheap for the poors out here like me. Anyways, so yeah, Mo Charming Perilia. Yay, I'll just wait for Fuawas to get dirt cheap here in a couple months. Anyways, that's everything, guys. I am way past when I should be asleep, so see ya. Oh. Crystron might actually be like the cheapest meta deck out right now. That's ridiculous. Oh my god. So anyways, yeah. Anyways, that's everything. I'm done for real this time. Have a great night, guys. See y'all later. Peace out and goodbye. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider rating, commenting, and subscribing. Sharing the video helps as well. If you especially really like it, please do consider being a channel member. Every little bit helps out. And hey, also why not check me out on my other social media pages. Thank you and have a great day.